Hello students. Uh, Today we are going to discuss about your FRM subject, that is the first elective of your third semester. In my last class, what I have discussed is all about back testing. That was nothing but basically back testing was all about retesting your VAR. How far the VAR that you have calculated. What was VAR is nothing but the maximum loss that the company is going to face. That will be measured in the VAR. That is, if it says that 95% confident that it will be 20% loss and all, that means there is a 5% doubt, or 95% confident that it may cross that 20% loss as such. So here also that was war about. What was back testing was like, um, basically it's like how far war like we predicted something, like we are predicting the actual losses and we are forecasting them. So how far that is correct, how far that worked, that will be done, that will be rechecked in back testing as such. So it is basically how far the VAR model was accurate, correct and all will be was conducted in back testing as such. So we have also discussed about the measurement of risk. When risk is measured by VAR or CAR, reducing the cost of risk for a given level of VAR or CAR, or reducing the risk through project choice using derivatives and other financial instruments. So in this, what we have discussed is how correct the VAR or CAR can be measured, how the cost of risk can be reduced through using the VAR or CAR. That is VAR. CAR is nothing but cash flow at risk. VAR, value at risk. So CAR is nothing but what could be the maximum shortfall in the cash in the company, that will be measured in these things as such. Thus that we have discussed in our last class. And this non-insurance methods is like, basically how we are going to avoid. You're going to avoid it without not indulging into any activity at all. That is one thing. Loss control over here means, uh, how far you should have control on the things like risk, the loss frequency and the quantity of losses will be known in the loss control as such, right? That is one thing. And risk retention is nothing but how much you're going to keep with you. Like you are facing 95% risk in the company, so how you're going to keep, if you're going out also to reconcile it, what happens, it will be difficult, because you may have to invest more money as such to reduce that risk, or to make management by the other parties outside the your company as such. So over here retaining means how much you're going to keep. Suppose it is 90% risky, so 70% you're going to keep it with you, and 20% you're going to calculate, you're going to reduce it to by giving the correct party who are going to reduce the risk, or you're going to transfer the risk as such. These were the another non-insurance methods as such of risk management, another topic of your second unit. This is what, it's very important for the long answers also in the exam. He asked mostly, that is ALM, asset liability management. So basically it is related to strategic management. So it will give importance to market risk, liquidity risk, interest rate risk and currency risk. When you are dealing with these all the things, like liquidity is nothing but the shortage of cash. In the like when we are asset liability management, this is done in banks mostly, or banks only will do this asset liability management. They'll deal with lot many customers on day to day manner. So when they are dealing with such things, they should not have less, like as you see, they give and take more money. They give also for the customers, they take also money, deposits as such, they issue also money. So when they are issuing and accepting the deposits, what happens, they need to deal with the cash. So in such situation, liquidity has to be maintained properly. It should not be that, it should not be more adequate. Adequate means it should not be more money assets, that it will be like theft and all should not happen, or it should not be shortage also. Like liquidity crunch, money crunch will be there, like you will not be able to have money in your hand as such. So a balance has to be maintained. It should be not shortage also, it should not be adequate also. That sort of balance has to be maintained as such. So the next one is market risk. Market risk means they deal with lot many customers where they do like they do as a um, like they do on behalf of the customers. They work as an representative. They work as a representative. When they do work as a representative, they need to deal with a lot of market risk like shares and all. They need to look after those also. Simultaneously they need to check out what is the currency rate in the market, what is the interest rates are going on in the market, repo rate, RBI rates. These all the things they need to check out, and they need to manage these market risk also. The exposure that is coming from the market, they need to manage that also. Okay, so that is what is ALM assets. Another one is interest rate trust. They take and they give loans also to the parties, and they invest in the stock markets also the money. So in such a situation, they need to look after the interest rates also, so that it like they should not be like fix that much interest that customers are not able to pay the interest that much also. They should not fix, or they should not fix less also, so that it should be like no benefit for the bank's assets. So management balance has to be maintained for each and everything. Same as with currency risk. When you're talking about currencies, when you do imports and imports, exports and imports, like you need to deal with lot many countries. You don't do with one country as such. So when you are doing business with different countries, you need to maintain the currencies also. What could be the exchange rates with different countries? You need to check out that and fix the balance assets. So that will be looked after in the ALM itself, that is asset liability management. So basically ALM is nothing but planning, directing. They need to plan the things. That is nothing but related to liquidity, interest, and currency. They need to plan, they need to direct the employees or the management. Control, they need to have the control on the flow level. Okay, mix everything, and the cost and the returns of the funds of the bank assets. So basically ALM builds up assets and liabilities of the bank based on the concept of net interest income and net interest margin, that we are going to discuss in later classes. Let's move on to the next slide. So how important the ALM is, like that also we need to discuss over here. Importance of ALM, globalization of financial market. Yes, earlier what used to happen in the, like we have checked about the evolution also. I am going to tell you once more also that no, not here. This I have to discuss. This also I have explained you. I'll just go through about it. Globalization of financial market, as earlier stages when like in 1996 something, dollar pegged with the rupee rate. Pegged means a fixed rupee was a fixed rupee amount was fixed with the dollar, means for $1 these much rupees as such. That was fixed in 1990, 1990s only, earlier. So 1906 or something like that, a dollar was fixed at a some fixed rate as such. I'm just going to show you one thing so that you'll understand it better. Okay, I'll move on to the next slide. In my another thing I'll explain. So globalization of financial markets and all taken place. So for that reason also ALM is very important when you're doing the business altogether, crossing your borders and going and doing the business with the other countries. You need to maintain the financial markets also. You need to follow the regulators, rules and regulations. That is how ALM also plays a very important role. By avoiding the risk, they need to manage the assets and liabilities of the company, of the bank's assets. Deregulation of interest rates, regulations and rules and regulations will be given by the this one, um, rules and regulations will be given by the RBI, that has to be followed by each and every bank all over the country. So when certain fixed rate, repo rate is nothing but repo rate will be there. This is nothing but the common rate that will be issued by the RBI, that is the central bank, to the other. How the interest rates will be fixed by the banks and all, they will fix the interest rate that will be forwarded by the RBI, the central bank as such. So when RBI says that you need to fix the interest rate, this is the maximum limit, you need not to cross the interest rates on this limit on this particular product as such, that will be issued by the central bank, that has to be followed by all the other banks. So this is very important. ALM is very important when you're talking about regulating the interest rates as such. That plays a very important role for managing the risk coming out of the interest rates as such. Multi-currency balance sheet, yes, when you're dealing, like when you're having a main branch in the home country and you're doing the subsidiaries like different, like you say McDonald's is there. McDonald's, what happens, it is main branches in US, something like that, it has many subsidiary companies in all over the countries as such. So when you are dealing in such situation, you need to deal with multiple currencies. If you are dealing in only US, you need to deal only with the US dollar. If you have in India, you have in Pakistan, you have in Saudi, you have in different countries all over the world. So when multiple currencies come into picture, the ALM plays a very important role for managing the risk arising out of the currency exposure as such. Next one is integration of markets. Integration of markets over here means when you are talking about uh, markets improvisation taken place, when globalization had, when internet has come into picture, people are becoming aware of the market situations, reality, everything is coming out. So that is how all over the world the countries are like developing situation. So markets are also improvising as such. Regulatory environment, yes, regulatory environment over here means the regulators will be there in the country. They will be there who will be implementing the policies and all, rules and regulations and all, that has to be taken care by the regulatory bodies, and the ALM plays an important role as such. Evolution is just 1 second. You can see over here, this is nothing but basically the evolution of finance as such. Just what I want to show you over here is, you can see in 19th century gold standard was there in India. In 1540s, 1545, Shershah Suri was introducing this rupiah as such, silver rupiah, whereas in 66 to 71, rupee pegged it to the US dollar. That means a fixed amount of rupee was like a fixed for $1. Rupee was fixed. How the rupee was fixed, based on the reserves of your country. Reserves over here means it could be gold reserves. How much you have in your country, depending upon that, of rupee was fixed in 1966 to 1971. So you can check out over here. RBI commenced operations as a banker to the central government. So over here in 1935, the RBI operated. So that is how banking have started. So that is like ALM also introduced that period only, the asset liability management. Um, in the beginning, that pre-liberalization, here it's very less competition in banking sectors because very less banks were there in 1930s and all. Main focus was on asset management, whereas in post-liberalization, deregulation of interest rates, non-recognition of income on an accrual basis, high of balance sheet exposure, high competition also is there. Now let's talk about the RBI guidelines of today's class. So just go through of it what I have done. So let's study the RBI guidelines for ALM, that is asset liability management. RBI issued guidelines on ALM system covered interest rate risk, liquidity risk measurement, reporting framework, and prudential limits as such. So risk related with banking activities are very difficult to tackle, because liberalization in India, because of the liberalization in Indian financial market and various factors. So what, presently banking function in the environment without restrictions and also finds on their own the interest rates on deposits and advances in domestic as well as the foreign rates, foreign currencies, by applying the new ideas and all. So enhanced enhanced variations in domestic interest rates, foreign exchange rates, and competition for business for asset liabilities has forced the bank management to keep appropriate stability all around the expansion, profitability, and long-term feasibility. So here it means that variation in domestic interest rates, because when you are trading the and doing the business internationally, you're either you're exporting and importing, or you're listing your shares internationally or domestically. So different interest rates will be there of different countries, different foreign exchange rates will be there, and competition for business for maintaining the assets and liabilities, that has made the bank management to keep an appropriate stability all around the profitability and long term feasibility of the companies as such. Okay, so banks have to maintain in such a manner so that a proper liquidity things, interest rate things, and all has to be maintained as such. Okay, so monitor the, here what banks does, they need to banks are required to monitor their mismatches across all the time buckets in their statement of structural liquidity by establishing internal prudential limits with the approval of the board management committee. Here it means, when mismatches, they see basically for any company or any bank, assets and liabilities has to be matched with each other. Your assets should not be more, your liability should, like, assets can be more but liabilities should not be more assets. You cannot be, you, if your liabilities are more, what happens, mismatch happens and you end up by becoming bankrupt and all. So balance has to be maintained as such. So banks all the time they have to monitor the the cumulative mismatches across time buckets. Time buckets over here means a unit of time used for defining and consuming forecast. So bucket can be 1 day, 1 week, or a period as such. So here time buckets will be prepared so that for finding out the mismatches between the assets and liabilities as such. Okay, assets has to be balanced with the liabilities. If there is a mismatch, that will be taken care by the ALM assets. So ALM were earlier divided into 8 maturity buckets. I hope it is clear. Buckets are nothing but unit of time used for defining and consuming forecast. Here they are forecasting. Here they are defining the mismatches of assets and liabilities. So bucket can be 1 day. It looks awkward when I am saying bucket, but it's very easily you can remember it. Bucket asset. So it is basically 1 day. It could be 1 week or one period that will be measured asset. So mismatches will be measured in the by the bank's assets. So earlier there used to be 8 maturity buckets. Now that is between 1 to 14 days, 15 to 28 days, 29 to 90 days, 91 to 180 days, 181 to 365 days, 1 to 3 year, and 3 to 5 years and above. So what happened, when you're talking about 1 to 14, if there is a mismatch, they are going to take for 14 days, they are going to calculate. Then from 15 to 28 days. So here they are basically, what they're doing is they're just measuring the mismatches of assets and liabilities, and based on the remaining period to the maturity are called residential maturity. Residential maturity here is basically the mismatches of assets and liabilities will be measured and a proper decision will be taken as such. Here, as per the guidelines, the mismatch can be during the time bucket of 1 to 14 days, or it could be 15 to 28 days. Okay, that should not exceed 20% of the cash outflows in the respective time bucket. So basically When you're talking about this mismatches, when there is a mismatch, when there is a negative gap, when there is a mismatch, so when there is assets and liabilities are not equal, there will be a mismatch, they will not be matching. So that is called basically negative gap. When there is a gap, when there is a difference between the assets and liabilities, it is basically called as negative gap during the time bucket. It could be 1 to 14 days or 15 to 28 days, whatever it could be. All the 8 buckets should not exceed up to 20% of the cash outflows. So here basically, in 2007, something like that, international practices, the level of sophistication of banks in India, the need for a sharper assessment of efficiency of liquidity management has arised a problem. So RBI then again they have revised these guidelines. There was having a problem for maintaining the proper development of money market. They were not able to maintain with these 8 buckets assets. So for that, RBI has made revised the guidelines and made a proper um, similar approach. Here granular means similar approach assets. The banks must adopt a more granular and approach to measure the liquidity risk by splitting the first time bucket. 1 to 14 days were further divided into 3 times buckets. That is, next day will be 1, 2 to 7, 8 to 14 days. So they have divided into 2 buckets. That 1 to 14 days were divided into 2. So that means they are going to calculate the mismatches from 2 to 7 days and 8 to 14 days. So it altogether it became um, by taking the previous buckets also, altogether they are now 10 time buckets as such. So after that exercise, after this thing matching, each bucket of asset is matched with the corresponding bucket of liability. When in a particular bucket the amount of maturities of liabilities or asset does not match, such position is called mismatch position. Just now what I have discussed, when there is a gap, when there is a difference between the assets and liabilities, the maturities of assets, time buckets of maturities of assets bucket, when there is a mismatch, it's basically called as mismatch, and it is also called as liquidity crunch surplus, liquidity surplus it can be, or liquidity crunch it should be. A balance has to be maintained as such, what I am discussing from that point onwards. So depending upon the interest rate movement, such situation may turn out to be risky for the bank also, because when there is a lot of fluctuations in the bank currencies and all, mismatches will take place. So banks are very much important to monitor such mismatches and has to take appropriate steps so that bank is not exposed to risk due to the interest rate movements during that period as such. There's a lot of fluctuation in the interest rates and all, banks will be exposed to risk as such. So that the reason this RBI guidelines have been introduced as such. So one more important point over here is the net cumulative negative mismatches during next day 2 to 7, 8 to 14 and 15 to 28 days bucket should not exceed 5%, 10%, 15% and 20%. That means for 2 to 7 days, the maturity of assets bucket and the maturity of liabilities bucket should not exceed beyond 5%. If assets are more, it should not exceed 5%. If liabilities are more, it should not exceed 5%. A balance has to be maintained as such. So for 18 to 14 days, 10% mismatches can be 10% of mismatches can be considered, but it should not go beyond that 10% as such. For 15 to 28 days, it is 15% as such. The mismatch should not go beyond 15% as such. The like how this has to be continued. Like for that 15 to 28 as I said. After that 29 to 90, it could be 91 to 180, it could be, or 181 to 365. All the mismatches should not exceed beyond 20%. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay. So here what another important point I want to discuss about ALM is the board of banks, the board of directors, or all whoever are responsible, uh, who are responsible for management or risk are required to decide the risk management policy and They are responsible for setting limits for liquidity, interest rates, and foreign exchange and equity price risk assets. So they are responsible for making the fluctuation. They are responsible for making the decision as such. So based on this, they have to take proper decisions as such. Okay. Um, so the revised RBI guidelines are supervisory reporting as per the device format will be like they have to begin this from they have started this from 2008 as such. So to maintain the structural liquidity for position night as well as fortnight also, the guidelines of ALM systems are being issued as a draft of feedback for all the concerned parties. So the draft is always open for comments from the past 10 days as such, I guess. So that has to be taken care. So ALM committee also will be there who will be looking after this. Like topmost committee to oversee the implementation of ALM system, asset liability management system. A group of people will be there who will be managing the liquidity risk as interest rate risk, currency risk and all. Also consider product pricing for deposits. Product pricing for deposits over here means how you are going to price your product so that your deposits and advances has to be in a minimum stage, the desired maturity profile for the incremental assets, liabilities in addition to the monitoring the risk level of the bank assets. I hope it is clear to all of you the ALM guidelines. Let's move on to the next topic now. ALM process, that is nothing but ALM process is basically is on three pillars. They rest on three pillars: ALM information system, management information system, information availability, accuracy, adequacy and expediency, ALM organization, structure and responsibilities, level of top management involved. So basically, information is very important for ALM process. Considering the large network of branches and lack of adequate system to collect information required for ALM, which analyzes information on the basis of residential maturity and behavioral pattern, it will take time for banks in the present state to get requisite information as such. So thus information system, this what we are talking about, this information ALM information system should need to be introduced soon after evaluating risk occurring in the bank. Whatever risk are occurring, they need to introduce the some ALM information system as such. Okay, to manage the risk properly as such. So we are going to talk about the ALM organization also. So regarding like organization and all, how making decisions and gathering main activities in duty of top level management of implying effective techniques of risk management plays a very important role. The banks and all who sets the ALCO committee, that is asset liability management committee, has to be very careful about the board and should even hold obligations for making business strategies also. They need to hold like rules and regulations for making any strategies also. So basically they consist of operating staff. They have to they will be responsible for analyzing, monitoring, reporting the risk profiles to the ALCO committee. So they have to take care of this organization staff. And also the staff, the employees should prepare the predictions showing or the forecast showing that the effects of various possible changes in market conditions related to balance sheet, and they have to recommend the actions needed to change the bank's internal limits also. So basically the banks and all, the main purpose of ALM is to increase the asset quality, evaluate the risk and manage it. So process of evaluating and managing, they include the three things like managing liquidity risk and market risk, planning for funding and capital, planning for forecast growth and profitability assets. So here when you're talking about planning and all, they have to take care of this. They have to be very careful for analyzing the risk arising out of the exposing arising out of a situation as such. So here, when you're talking about, so ALM's information system is important, and ALM organization is important, and one more thing what you're talking about is ALM process. The third one is ALM process. I hope it is clear, these two things to all of you. ALM process rests on three systems, that is ALM information system. Information system over here means they need to maintain a because the banks are having a lot, they will have lot many branches all over the country as such. So they may lack of an adequate system to collect information regarding for ALM, which analyzes information on the basis of residential maturity and behavioral pattern. It will take time for the banks and all. So information is very important. They need to be introduced soon after evaluating the risk occurring in the bank's assets. Next is ALM organization. So how accurate, how information availability is there, how accurate it is, the information is adequate enough, and the expenditures related to expertise related to that particular information, that will be noted in the ALM information system assets. So the next is ALM organization, that is what we have discussed about. The it takes a very important role for decisions and gathering main activity in the duty of top level management for implying the for introducing the effective technique of risk management. So ALCO committee, banks and all, they set ALCO committee who have to be concerned about the board and should even hold obligations for making business strategies also as well. So basically ALM is concerned more about operating staff who are responsible for analyzing, monitoring and reporting the risk profiles as well. The next part is process. So here in the process we are going to talk about here why we do ALM, why ALM is important is they include three functions: managing liquidity risk and market risk assets, planning for funding and capital, planning for forecasted growth and profitability. So over here we are going to talk about now the parameters. Risk parameters. Parameters means the factors that are responsible for having the risk for to be considered as a risk asset, that has to be taken care. Risk identification, the things we have talked about in my that is in my first unit. So process or steps that we have discussed. So like what are the various factors that could arise the risk, as such we have discussed an example. If you remember, electricity board is that an event is being conducted. So what are the various sources an event can get the risk as such? So if it electricity is short circuit is being taken place, or rain or flood happen or rain happen, that could catch risk for a situation for an event as such. That all has to be included under risk parameter. Then risk identification. After identifying the risk, if you came to know that the risk may arise from that particular short circuit of the electricity as such. So when you're identifying that, that has the next step would be like risk measurement. Measurement we have talked about VAR, CAR and all. If you remember in my last class, that's nothing but various measurement techniques to measure the risk as such, that has to be taken care. Risk management, the last and the most important step is risk management. How effectively you are going to manage your risk, the risk policies, rules and regulations of the risk. The tolerance limit over here, the limit is nothing but time buckets over here. If losses are there, how much you are going to tolerate about. If the company is not doing well, if the bank is not doing, like how you are going to tolerate and all that levels will be fixed as such. Next, managing liquidity risk and market risk. Liquidity risk over here means liquidity crunch and liquidity surplus also should not be there. The next step is risk policies and tolerance level. and managing the liquidity risk and market risk. So how we are going to manage the liquidity surplus also should not be there, liquidity crunch also should not be there. In such a manner the liquidity has to be maintained by banks. And all market risk, here market risk is the fluctuation in the interest rates, currency rates and all, that has to be properly managed and all. These are the various steps under the ALM. The very first it is like risk parameters, that are the various factors that risk can be found. Then risk identification, then measurement, various techniques will be there to measure the risk and manage the risk as such. The various policies and tolerance limits also has to be taken care. Managing the liquidity crunch and market risk also, that has to be maintained. Planning for funding and capital. Planning for funding and capital means here when there is a risk that has to be funded, that has to be managed by giving the money and all to the parties, the various management tools and all. We are going to manage the risk. When you are able to manage the risk, you will be able to earn an enough capital as that is has to be taken care. So management of liquidity risk, market risk. The next is management of interest rate risk also. Interest rate is that risk wherein market rates affects the bank's financial conditions. Yes, obviously when there is a lot of fluctuation in the interest rates, market rates tend to fluctuate and bank's financial condition also get affected. So it affects the banks in a larger way, because due to changes in interest rates. So change in interest rates have an immediate effect on the bank earnings as such. Variation in the market rates, they definitely affects the off and on balance sheet positions. The change in the market value also, that will be affected. So banks and financial institutions, they maintain the risk on a following reasons: for getting the amount of economic capital, for reducing the risk as such. So the bank chooses different approaches for measuring the ALM interest rates, that is ALM interest rate risk as such. They are gap analysis, rate shift scenario, simulation method, duration analysis and sensitivity analysis as such. So these are the various steps under the ALM interest rate risk. We are talking about interest rate risk. How ALM is going to manage is interest rate risk, liquidity risk, market risk and currency risk. So we are going to deal with all the different methods of interest rates, all the different methods of currency rates, all the different rates of liquidity risks, all the different rates for market risk also. The very first one under market interest rate risk is gap analysis, rate shift scenario, simulation method, duration analysis and sensitivity analysis. Gap analysis is basically the direction and extent of assets and liability mismatch over different time intervals at a given date is measured through gap analysis. The direction and extent of asset liability mismatch over different time intervals at a given date is measured through gap analysis. So over here, as we are discussing from the beginning, ALM means asset liability has to be managed. Assets and liability should be equal. Okay, our final accounts is depending upon this only. Assets has to be equal with the liabilities. Okay, so liability should not go beyond a limit so that the company should be bankrupt or not. So if there is a mismatch, how the different mismatches will be managed is measured in gap analysis only. We were discussing about the time buckets and all, that is used for calculating the gap analysis as such. The difference between duration of assets and liabilities is called duration gap. I hope it is clear. So basically the very first step in this will be to find out the duration, to select the gap period. So it can be anywhere between a month to a year. The selection of gap period, primarily it is depending on short and medium term forecast of interest rates as such. So that is what it is. Move on to the next topic. This thing I'm going to discuss again in my next class because it's very important. The interest rate risk and liquidity risk and all. With this, I'm going to wind up the class. See you all guys in my next class. I'm going to tell you further things. Bye all of you.